right, this is DJ REM from Smash Radio, and I have the guys from Ashland Belle on the line. How are you guys doing today?
Great, how are you, man? How are you? How's it going?
Not too bad at all. Big thank you to you guys for calling in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
I want to give a big shout to Shauna O'Donnell for hooking me up with you guys and hooking me up with your tracks. You guys, I'm a metalhead and a country head, and I listen to so many different kinds of music. It's crazy.
Country head, that's a new one. I like that.
So when she sent me your track, she's like, I know you're not. I'm like, well, I like country. Let me hear. And I listened to you guys, and you guys are killer. Very cool.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much.
I really like the style and kind of the way you're going with your sound. It's fresh and unique. So very nice.
Thank you.
So why don't you, if you guys don't mind, why don't you start by introducing yourselves and your spots in the band?
All right. Well, I'm Dave Guy. I'm lead vocals and guitar. I'm Josh Long. I am bass and backing vocals. This is John Rosini, lead guitar, vocals. And Rob Ferentz, and I'm the drummer. That's right, Rob.
Okay, so how long has Ashland Belle been around?
Well, we really hit the ground running in November, actually. This project started back in June of 2012 when I got the phone call, and then Josh and I started piecing it together. But it really, with this lineup, we started in November, and we just started heavily promoting and, just started working on more tunes because we already had songs written and recorded at that point.
Okay, very good. And I have to say, the sound of the recordings is very, very well done. Where did you guys record the music at that you have out right now?
We actually split it between a few different people. We tracked the music at a studio here called True Sound Studios, and then we went over to our buddy Dave Julian to do the vocals because he's just a genius when it comes to vocal production and things like that. Once we tracked the vocals, we sent it down to Nashville to Dave's buddy Mike Shimshak. He mixed it down for us, and then Dan at Georgetown Masters mastered it for us. So we had multiple people on the project, which we felt, was really going to give us the best overall product and overall sound.
Okay, very good. So how often do you guys get together and practice?
Really, as much as we can. We have two set days during the week, but depending on what we have going on, we make time, and, this week we've been getting together constantly. We had a show last night out in the mud in Clarence. So, we had a lot to do this week.
Very good. And where are you guys located currently at?
We are in Buffalo, New York.
Okay, very cool. I get a lot of metal bands from New York as well. So.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of them here.
Yep, very good. And so what's the music scene like there for you guys? What's going on with you guys as far as live shows and such?
Well, the thing about Buffalo is they're not too kind to original music. Here is it's a lot of cover bands, and that's what the people love up here, unfortunately. But the fans that we do have are excellent, unbelievable, and they stick with you, and they come out to every show. So they're very committed. It's just hard getting a lot of people on board with it.
Yeah, and I totally hear where you're coming from on that, because I get that a lot, when I ask bands how the music scene is, where they're at, and I get this all the time. It's like, well, if you like to play covers, it's awesome. And I don't get that. I'm not sure why people are so much into covers and not into original stuff, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you.
So, okay, so what do you guys have going on for live shows right now? What do you got lined up?
Well, we're playing Rochester, New York, beginning of October, and then we have some stuff booked around here sporadically, and then come January is when we're really planning on hitting it hard and doing some touring around the East Coast.
Okay, very good. Any chances you're going to be in Michigan at all?
We're going to do our best to make it out that way for sure.
Okay, well, make sure you guys let me know, or have Shauna let me know if you guys come this way. I'll definitely come see you guys if you make it this way.
Absolutely.
So this next question is kind of for each of you. I'm curious to know what musical influences you've had in your life that got you into country music and doing this sort of thing?
All right, well, for me, it started out with my first guitar, my first set of boots, my first cowboy hat when I was probably 2 years old. My mom actually got me a Garth Brooks live VHS tape that I played out, and that's what really got me to fall in love with the whole aspect of, performing and, entertaining people and, of course, country. My family was huge on country, so every get-together, every chance we got, we were always, listening to YRK, the country station here. Everything I remember is, Alan Jackson, Tim McGraw, things like that. But one of my other absolute favorites and inspirations would be Dwight Yoakam. I just absolutely, the way that guy can portray feelings and with how he sings it's just unbelievable to me. And, of course, and a guy coming from absolutely nothing to becoming a huge success was just such a huge inspiration.
This is Josh. I grew up on Vince Gill. My mom was the biggest Vince Gill fan that I think there ever was. I mean, I got dragged to all the shows every time he would come around. We even went on a family vacation one time and to Dollywood, and he was playing Dollywood, and we actually had to go see him there when we were there. And so I grew up on Vince Gill and actually Alan Jackson as well. I loved his music growing up. And a little bit later on, when I picked up the guitar, I actually I was very influenced by rock, and Stone Temple Pilots is actually like one of my favorite bands ever. So I mean, I'm very influenced by them. The Leo brothers were very a big part of me wanting to pick up a guitar. So very very huge on them as well.
This is John, the guitar player. Actually, for me, I actually grew up being a rock guy. I was into a lot of the 80s, the hair bands and stuff like that. And some heavier stuff, I think the first band I ever saw that made me pick up a guitar was Iron Maiden. So that kind of inspired me to play. And then, all throughout a lot of my years, I was, again into rock. And, I really got into country. It wasn't until a girl I was dating at the time, she, was really into country, and she dragged me to a Keith Urban show. And when I heard that, I went to the show, and I was like, I couldn't believe that, this was country music, because I was kind of, I guess, narrow-minded as to, how it evolved, and, I just had a stigma about it. But after I heard that, I was like, wow, this is, I didn't know country music was all about this, and that kind of got me into researching other artists and stuff like that. And, after I heard, how rock kind of transitioned into country and, how deep, the songwriting was, that's when I really just, was hooked and, kind of switched over from there. And this is Rob, the drummer. That's right, Rob. I pretty much, I'm kind of in the same boat with John, the guitar player. I kind of grew up in the early 90s and was influenced by a lot of the music of that era, kind of like the late 80s, early 90s rock. And I've always liked the power behind the drumming of the Tommy Lees and of the big power groups of that era. And I've been influenced by a lot of the drummers from Neil Peart from Rush and sort of like that. So I've always, I think those are my influences, and I feel like that's what I try to bring to this band is the main songwriters are writing the songs and the melodies, and what I try to do is I try to lay that, that powerful groove and that backbone to it. So that's pretty much, where my influences come from.
Okay, very cool. Did we miss anybody?
Oh, we got everybody.
All right. So I just want to say a couple things. One, I don't know about you guys, but country music today, is obviously not the same as it was back in the 70s, and I think that's why I personally dig it so much, is because it has so many different influences in it now. I mean, I've just heard rock and almost a little metal and some, southern rock, and just it's such a diverse music these days.
Yeah, that's what that's what really helped us come up with the sound really, because we all played in rock bands and things like that, over the last 10 years, and seeing the way country music was going, and with all of us, really, growing up on country, things like that, it was real easy to just kind of take what we were doing and really mix in all of our country influences and create this sound that, to all of us was something new. And it was definitely scary at first. I know I was like, is this going to work? Are people really going to dig this? Especially the country crowds, things like that. And, we're really glad that, people are so receptive to it.
Very good. And the other thing I want to mention is Garth Brooks was the best concert I've ever been to in my life.
Oh, absolutely. That guy could put on one hell of a show.
The best. So, anyways, so has keeping this band, keeping Ashland Belle rolling and things moving along, has this been a tough journey for you guys, or is everything moving along pretty smoothly?
Everything's moving along actually quite quickly, which is so great for us. I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, being a country band from the Northeast isn't exactly, easy, being, that far away from Nashville. But, there's such a strong country following here, so that really allowed us to hit the ground running with the shows and build a local fan base so quickly. And then once we really started promoting hard, nationally, it caught on so quickly. So we've been blessed and fortunate that, so many people have, latched on to the project, and, we've even built a team, on the business end of it. We have a great team, like Sean O'Donnell, really helped us put together just a really solid team, and we've just been so fortunate. So it's actually been a lot easier than we expected. Still pretty tough, but compared to what we're used to dealing with, this has really been a breeze.
Well, very cool, and I have to say, I wish you guys the best of luck and continued success, and I hope things keep rolling upwards for you guys, because you guys definitely, like I said, you guys have a great sound. So, so I got to know, where did the name Ashland Belle? How'd you come up with that name for the band?
Well, we, after, we had some songs going and things like that, we started talking like, all right, we need a name, we need something that's going to stick, something that people are going to remember, so we cycled through a bunch of names, like we've always done in the past, nothing really sticking, and I was actually online just looking up some of the names that we came up with in a get-together earlier that week, just to see what was available, what we could use, and somehow I came across this website for the Ashland Belle plantation in Louisiana, and the name just stuck with me. I just, and of course, I'm a history nerd, so it was cool to have some kind of name that would be associated with, something historical. So I brought it up just kind of not really expecting it to stick, because it was just something that just stuck with me, and I brought it up to Josh, and the overall reaction was, sounds like a girl country singer's name. So we're like, okay. So we kind of sat on it for a little while, but it just ended up kind of sticking with us as the only name that we really remembered, and we're like, yeah, let's roll with it. About, almost a week later, we decided on it, and, it's a name that definitely raises eyebrows, and people have really, remembered it. So I think we definitely hit it pretty well with that one.
Okay, well, very cool, and it definitely sounds country, so.
Yeah, we get that with the name a lot, which is cool. So definitely a good choice on our part.
Very good. Okay, so where can people find out more about Ashland Belle? What social networking and websites and stuff do you guys use?
Well, we, of course, we have a strong Facebook presence. You can find us at facebook.com/Ashland Belle. You can also check us out on Twitter. And to find the links to, all of our social media sites, as well as, where you can buy our music, where you can stream our music, it's all available right on our website at ashlandbelle.net. There you can get to our Spotify page, you can get to our iTunes page, Amazon, and things like that.
And do you guys have merchandise for sale there too?
We will be very shortly. We actually have an order placed now, so we should be getting it within the next week and a half or so. So once that comes, we're going to set up the store, and people will be able to, buy merch from us right off the website in, a couple weeks' time.
Okay, very good. So you kind of mentioned, that things have been moving quite smoothly for the band and everything's kind of going the way you'd hoped. So where do you guys hope to be in like 2 years from now? What are the goals for you guys?
Honestly, from here on out, just continuously building that fan base and start doing some touring and get our name out to as many people as possible, and hopefully getting with the bigger acts and touring with them and everything, and hopefully hitting it with the big times.
Who's your dream artist or band to get to play with?
That's a tough one. Personally, I would love to be on tour with Keith Urban. I mean, the show that guy puts on and is just unbelievable, and to be part of that would just be incredible.
Well, I wish you guys the best of luck with all of that as well.
Thank you.
And then, okay, so this next question is for everyone again. So I'm always curious when I talk to a band to know what kind of music they listen to. So if I grabbed your iPod, your MP3 player, what kind of music would I find you listening to right now?
Well, it's Josh, the bass player. If you picked up my iPhone right now and look through all the music, you're going to see Ray Charles, Michael Bublé, STP, Vince Gill, Alan Jackson. You're going to see Thomas Rhett, Frankie Ballard. I mean, it's just a crazy list of people that you would see on there.
This is Dave. If you grab my iPod right now, oh boy, I got some doozies on there. I actually just downloaded Robin Thicke's whole album. So that Blurred Lines really caught me there.
I love that song, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it was just such a novelty, and it was just like, this song, I need this song. I actually just downloaded Gorilla from Bruno Mars. I think he's ridiculously talented. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him at the Super Bowl halftime this year. Of course, mixed in, it's 90% various country artists, of course, so I have Garth and Dwight on there. A little bit of Vince Gill on there, Big and Rich, Jason Aldean, Brantley Gilbert. I got a little Skinner on there. That never hurt. And things like that. So it's definitely a healthy mix. I know I actually have a bunch of swing music on there as well. I'm actually a really big fan of Louis Prima and Cab Calloway. Funny enough, back to the 40s and things like that. So I mean, I have a pretty diverse taste.
This is Rob, the drummer. I think a lot. I mean, what I have a lot on my iPhone now is I like a lot of the newer country. I got some like the Carrie Underwood, some Darius Rucker. Like I said, I liked a lot of the '80s. So I actually just saw Firehouse about 2 weeks ago. So
nice.
It's actually on there too. I've been listening to them. But I got some Zach Brown. And then plus a lot of the drummers that influenced me. I still got like their music on there. Like I said, like a lot of the Rush, a lot of some of the jazz stuff like Dave Weckl, and pretty much like I said. But majority of it now is a lot of the newer country stuff, like like the Zach Brown. And actually it was funny too because I actually downloaded the Bruno Mars CD about I think it was Thursday or Friday or so. I haven't had a chance to really listen to it yet, but I'm looking forward to listening to that. Hey, this is John. My phone actually, I've been a little bit of a Spotify junkie lately, and I got it segregated pretty much into two sections. Throughout the day, I usually listen to a lot of like the top. I just got like a top 40 country station program because I'm always listening to like CMT's Top 20 Countdown and stuff like that. And it's just like, it seems like a lot of the artists that are coming out now, like the songwriting, no matter who it is incredible. So I'm always keeping up to date with that. And then, on the flip side of that, I got my workout stations, which if you're a metalhead, we probably have some bands in common. I got like Kill Switch Engage on there, Godsmack, August Burns Rad, stuff like that.
Very cool. Okay, that's everybody, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for sharing your musical taste and interests. I really appreciate that. Again, that's another curiosity of mine when I talk to bands. I'm just always curious to know what everybody's listening to. So.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do you guys do to relax when you're not practicing, when you're not doing shows and stuff? Anybody have any crazy hobbies or anything they like to do to unwind?
To unwind, we usually practice. There's such a strong work ethic with this band. So a lot of the band things that we do are actually a big break from real life. So it's very therapeutic for us. But when we're not doing things like that, we're never serious, ever. This is actually the longest we've been serious for this past week doing this interview. So you get to see the serious side of us.
Just for the record, you don't have to be serious for the interview either.
Okay, good. Thank God. All right. Yeah, we've been sitting here trying to make each other laugh for the last 20 minutes or so.
I love it.
We get together. We're all really, really big into football right now. So the fact that football season is back is just awesome. I know we're all just kind of anxious to get to the Sunday games, things like that. Of course, I always hit concerts. I'm always big on concerts. I'm a big fan of a lot of the 80s metal bands that come through. They just put on some phenomenal shows, so it's always a good chance to get out there and just kind of be on be in the crowd side of it. Even though, of course, I'm sitting there picking out things and,
Right.
not fully enjoying it like a fan would, but it's still just nice just to be out there and listening to music and things like that. So we all pretty much have the same type of, relaxing, pastimes, because we're all into so much, and, we spend a lot of time together, so, we just kind of rub off on each other as far as, interests and things like that.
Okay, so what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you guys at a live show you've done?
This band or previous band? Yeah, this band or previous band.
Well, let's stick, if we can, let's stick to Ashland Belle, of course.
All right. Last night, I suppose, would be the craziest thing ever. We played pretty much just out in the sticks last night. It's just a whole bunch of people with their pickup trucks and just a whole lot of mud. So basically, Dave actually.
We had to have a truck.
A couple of us actually we have cars, so Dave attempted to go home and pretty much just got stuck in mud. And at the time, obviously, it was the most frustrating situation. But looking back on it today, it's probably one of the funniest things all of us have ever seen. How deep the car was actually stuck in the mud.
And the bulldozer pulled him out.
And the bulldozer actually pulled him out last night.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome.
It sounds like a local mud run I go to.
It was pretty muddy. It was awesome.
But the show turned out well, I'm assuming?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a great response. There's like about 500 people there, so it was
Awesome.
definitely awesome.
That's cool. 500 people out in the mud to listen to you guys play. That's
yeah.
That's cool. Nothing better than that. Really. Okay, so now is the most important question of the interview I'm going to ask. So now you actually have to be serious.
All right.
Who out of you guys in the band, who spends the most time in front of a mirror before a show?
I don't know. I think we all spend the same amount of time in front of the mirror and looking at each other and making sure that we look great. It's pretty even across the board. I guess Rob would be the one that's in front of the mirror the most. Yeah, he's the ugliest guy in the band. It's definitely the toughest for him.
That's better. I'm like, man, he's going politically correct on me here. I don't like this. Okay, so you said you guys like to have fun. Who's the biggest prankster in the band then?
Probably John. Yeah. That guy, I don't know if I've actually ever had a serious conversation with John in my life. I've known him for about, it's been about 10 to 15 years now or whatever, and we've yet to have a serious conversation about anything. So yeah, I'm going to say John's probably the biggest one. He's the one that's been actually joking around the most so far in the last 20 minutes.
Awesome. Okay, is there anything else you would like to tell everyone that'll hear this interview? Anything I have not asked you about Ashland Belle that you want to make sure people know?
I don't know. That's a tough question. The whole focus, I guess, on this band is to try and bring back that that original feel of country music to the point where, back in the day, like when you got your Johnny Cash type people, and that pretty much just said what's on their mind. And, we're trying to bring back that whole feel, bring back the roots of country music, and that's the message we're trying to deliver.
Very cool. And I saw your post on your Facebook page about old Johnny Cash. So yeah, rest in peace to that guy. He was amazing.
He was incredible.
So, okay, well, you know what? There is one other thing I was going to ask you guys. What, as far as writing music and getting it from that beginning writing phase to actually getting it recorded, what's your process for that?
Well, what we do is, basically, Dave, myself, and John, we each come up with ideas individually, and the process that seems to happen is one of us will bring an idea to practice, and we'll sit down and we'll listen to it, and we all pretty much just kind of add our own flavor to it, which develops the song. And fortunately for us, it comes really fast. One of us will bring an idea, like I'll show John something, and John will put his little flavor on it, and Dave will start humming a melody to it, and it'll just come together very quickly. And from that point, we'll just go record a whole bunch of music. And, then we kind of just pick and choose. Like for Bringing Country Back, we actually recorded 12 songs, and we decided to pick 6 out of them, and those are the 6 that we actually picked. And actually, our publishing company had a hand in assisting in what songs we picked. We're with Final Play Music Group, and so we all sat down together, the guys with Final Play, and we picked out the 6 that made it on the album.
Okay, very cool. So the last thing I'd like to ask you guys to do is make a couple of radio liners for me, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
So the first one, I don't. If you guys can all do it in unison, you can, or just one of you can do it. That's up to you. But just say, this is Ashland Belle, and you're listening to Smash Radio.
This is Ashland Belle,
And you're listening to Smash Radio.
Perfect. And then the second one, because I gotta have one for my show here, because actually we haven't gone live yet on Smash Radio the station's live and the stream's live, but we haven't gone with any live DJs yet. That's coming very soon. So I definitely would love to have one for myself. So when I play your tracks, which I will be doing, then I can throw that in. So if you can do the same thing, but just throw in there that you're listening to DJ REM at Smash Radio.
This is Ashland Belle, and you're listening to DJ REM on Smash Radio.
All right. Thanks a bunch, guys. I appreciate that.
Of course, no problem. You don't have to use them. It's okay.
No, I definitely will use them. I love using those. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your support.
Yep, you're welcome. So once again, thank you guys for calling in and taking time out of your day. Give me about a week or so, and I'll have this edited, and I'll have it up on my YouTube channel. And I'll send you guys a link on your Facebook, and I'll send it to Shauna so she can spread the word as well. But I'll get it out to everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your support, man. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, man. Guys, keep it country.
All right.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.